Good morning, everybody. I am Jenny, and I am a community health advocate in Area 4, 5, and 6, which is the Twin Falls area, the Pocatello area, and Idaho Falls. And I have some in Area 3, which is the Boise area. And today we are going to talk about how support groups can help caregivers of individuals living with dementia. Caring for someone with dementia for caregivers, this often means adjustment, emotional strain, and at times overwhelming responsibilities. Many caregivers feel isolated, exhausted, and unsure if they are doing the right thing. That's where support groups come in. Support groups provide a space where caregivers can connect, learn, share, and heal together. How many of you guys have attended a support group or attend a support group? You guys can raise hands. I can't see anybody.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I have many support groups.
Very good. So in today's presentation, we are going to explore, oops, I'm not moving here. We are going to explore what dementia caregiving looks like, the challenges caregivers face, what support groups are, the specific ways support groups can help caregivers, real life examples of their impact, and how to find a support group. So before today, what comes to mind when you hear support group?
Helping each other out, getting different ideas, what works for that person, what works for that person, at the different stages that people are in. Like, okay, I know that something is coming and I need to be prepared for it for the next stage that he's in or he will be in.
Yes. Anybody else?
Sounding board.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I would say where there's trust and it's ongoing.
Yes. Lots of trust, lots of support.
Times to laugh and times to cry together with somebody that knows what you're up to.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Susan.
I didn't hear what she said.
I said, hi, Susan. It's nice to see you. We have been each other's support group for a little while.
Very good. So before we talk about support groups, it's important to understand what caregivers are dealing with. Dementia is not a single disease. It's a general term used to describe a decline in cognitive function severe enough to interfere with our daily life. This includes memory loss, confusion, difficulty with language, and changes in mood and behavior. The most common is Alzheimer's disease, but there are others, including vascular dementia, Lewy body, frontal temporal. Caregivers, often family members, take on responsibilities such as managing medications, helping with daily activities like eating, dressing, and bathing, handling finances and appointments, monitoring safety, providing emotional support. Unlike many other illnesses, dementia caregiving often lasts for years and it becomes more demanding over time. As the disease progresses, the caregiver role increases. What has been the most unexpected challenge in caregiving for someone with dementia for you?
Can I talk?
Absolutely.
To me, doing things like I never used to do before, like changing the bag in the vacuum cleaner, unscrewing something I haven't screwed or I didn't screw it out. He just can't manage those anymore. Fixing things that are normally done by him, I'm having to take over And I just never thought about it before because he wanted to do those things. But now I find myself, okay, I need to learn how to do these things.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, I think the hardest thing for me is just not being able to communicate. I just I don't have a real partner anymore that I can discuss things with and help figure things out and make decisions. And that's been really, really hard. All I can really say is his doctor said, severe dementia. I don't even, he doesn't have a diagnosis of a type of dementia, just
Yeah.
dementia. So,
Okay.
but it's kind of progressed really pretty rapidly over the last year. And, yeah.
I think one of the hardest things for me was being able to make a decision of when to trust that he can do something and when not to, and how to not insult him, but yet be able to say, no, that's not going to work, whether it's driving or changing the oil or whatever it is. It's hard to know when it's okay to say, um, even even to say no, let me do that or something like that, because he's always been so capable. So
I would say the hardest thing, well, one hard thing for me is the long, slow decline. And the future, which I don't really worry about, but I don't see any changes on the horizon. So it's a marathon.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of the challenges that caregivers commonly face. Emotional stress is one of them. We, as caregivers, we often experience grief, frustration, guilt, sadness. You may feel like you're losing the person that you love while they're still here. Physical exhaustion. Caregivers can physically be demanding, assisting with mobility, sleep disruptions, and constant supervision can lead to burnout. Social isolation. Many caregivers withdraw from friends and activities because they don't have the time or they feel that that person doesn't understand. Financial strain, medical costs, reduced work hours, leaving a job altogether can create financial pressure. A lack of knowledge. Caregivers often are not trained professionals. They may feel unprepared to handle behavior changes, aggression, and medical decisions. Mental health risks. Caregivers have higher rates of anxiety and depression compared to non-caregivers. All of these challenges can build up over time, leading to caregiver burnout, a state of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion. When do you feel the most overwhelmed as a caregiver?
When I have to repeat myself 100 times.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yep.
I think when I have to tell him no, he can't do certain things, because of course he doesn't want to accept that. And it's just a really difficult situation, to be in and try to say, no, that's not safe for you to do. And, he doesn't believe me, and it's just difficult and very stressful.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think dressing and undressing in bathroom, supervision, helping there, all of that is very challenging, very difficult.
Very hard.
Mhm. I have help. I have somebody come in twice a week to help give a shower now, and that's great. And to do the dressing twice a week, get him ready for the day. So that's helpful.
Very helpful. Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think when it's most stressful to me, which is kind of backwards, but is when I realize that it's stressful. it's like I go along and I keep pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, somebody says something to me or whatever, and it all comes together. And I think, oh yeah, I've got to get away. I've got to do something or just go to my room or whatever, because I don't notice the stress that I keep pushing down. And then all of a sudden it's there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I fight the feeling that my world is shrinking. So I keep pushing to, keep up my activities, to do everything I can to be with other people. I live at Paradise Creek, and they have just begun providing a service, a drop-off service, 9 to 4 every day, except on the weekends, in which we can, people who have spouses who have Alzheimer's can leave them there, and they do puzzles and other activities with them while we're gone. And it can be for an hour, it could be for a number of hours, and that's really that's a godsend, really, I think, for a lot of people in the area.
It's a great resource to have in your area. That's
It
really
is.
Yeah.
They just started it, and my husband and one other man down the street is enrolled in it, and they both seem to like it. They don't remember what happened there when they come out, but but we know, and the wives know, and they seem to be happy. They seem to like it, so they get lunch there as well. So it's great resource.
That sounds really good to me, because one of the things, I get respite pretty much once a week, but so often it's like, well, you have to sign up 2 weeks ahead. They like more, but 2 weeks ahead. But by the time the 2 weeks gets there, he may be in a completely different place, or I may be, to where I can't leave him. And then I feel bad because whoever it is that was going to come, they don't get to work, and that's kind of the pits. But that kind of program that you're talking about would be awesome, just to be able to have the spontaneity of it, because I think that's one of the things I most miss is spontaneity. Being, oh, I'm going to run here, I'm going to go there, whatever. Like
I do
that.
let them
So that'd
know.
be a great program.
Excuse me. I do let them know a day ahead, although they don't seem to require that. But I usually call a day ahead, and sort of plan it in my own schedule when I want to do certain activities or whatever. So I let them know.
That's great stuff.
So let's talk about support groups. What exactly is a support group? A support group is a gathering of people who share common experiences, in this case, caring for someone with dementia. These groups can meet in person, community centers, hospitals, churches, senior centers, online, video calls, social media. They are often led by a trained facilitator, a social worker, nurses, counselors, but sometimes they are also peer-led. Support groups are not a therapy session. Instead, it is a safe, non-judgmental space where people can share our experiences, offer advice to one another, provide emotional support, and learn from one another. How support groups can help caregivers. Reducing isolation. One of the most powerful benefits is simply realizing that you are not alone. Caregivers often feel like no one understands what they are going through. So in a support group, everyone shares similar challenges. This creates an immediate sense of belonging. Hearing someone say, I've experienced that too, can be incredibly comforting. Emotional support and validation. Caregivers sometimes feel guilty for feeling frustrated or overwhelmed. In support groups, those feelings are normalized. Members can express emotions without fear or judgment. The emotional release is essential for our mental health. Sharing advice. Support groups are a valuable source of real world tips. For example, how to handle wandering behavior, ways to communicate with someone who is confused, strategies for managing aggression and anxiety, recommendations for services and resources. This kind of advice is more often practical and relatable than what is found in a textbook. Learning coping strategies. Support groups help caregivers develop healthier ways to cope with stress. Some examples include stress management techniques, setting boundaries, taking a break without guilt, practicing self-care. Caregivers learn that taking care of themselves is not selfish, it's necessary. Increasing knowledge and confidence. Many support groups include educational components. Caregivers can learn about the stages of dementia, what to expect as the disease progresses, legal and financial planning, available community resources. The knowledge helps caregivers feel more prepared and confident in their role. Improving your mental health. Regular participation in support groups have been shown to reduce anxiety and depression, improve mood, and increase resilience. Just having a space to talk can significantly improve our emotional well-being. It can help encouraging your self-care. Caregivers often neglect their own needs. Support groups remind them that their health matters too. Members encourage each other to take breaks, ask for help, talk to their doctor or therapist, engage in hobbies and relaxation, and most importantly, builds long-term connections. Over time, support group members often form meaningful friendships. These connections can extend beyond meetings, creating a strong support network that caregivers can rely on in difficult times. So I have a real life example for you. Her name is Sarah, and she's caring for her husband who has Alzheimer's disease. At first, Sarah tries to handle everything on her own. She feels overwhelmed, isolated, and unsure what to do for her husband as he becomes agitated or confused. Eventually, she joins a support group. In her first meeting, she hears others describe the exact challenges she is facing. For the first time, she feels understood. She learns practical strategies like using simple language and maintaining routines for her husband. She also learns that it's okay to ask for help. Over time, Sarah begins to feel less alone, more confident, and feel better to cope. This is not an unusual story. It's a common experience for caregivers who join support groups. What would make you feel comfortable in attending a support group?
For me, it is having to lie to my husband what I'm doing the time that I am going to a support group, because at this point he's still aware enough that he doesn't care for support groups. He wouldn't think about support groups. So it's the guilt trip of having to lie to my husband about where I'm going.
I think we all do a little bit of that.
Yeah, I know we all have to lie, but I would love to have to get to one point where I'm just saying, okay, I'm going to my support group now, but he doesn't get that part of it.
I've had support groups since the beginning, even before we moved out here. So I've never felt like I shouldn't go to one. It's been a lifesaver for me, both the kind that the person to person, face to face, and the online have been really, really important to me. I think one of the things I really like about it is that it makes me feel like I'm helping somebody else, because you learn something one place and then you go another place and they've never heard of it or about it or whatever, and you can share it. Where when you're at home most of the time and just doing your caregiver stuff, you're helping your husband or spouse or whatever, but there isn't the opportunity to get out and do the things you used to do as far as community or work or whatever like that. So to me, it's really helpful to be able to be helpful.
I'd be very interested in in-person support groups. I'm not aware of anything available to me right at the moment. But I have been really loving sharing experiences with Nan and Susan. It's been so helpful to hear other people going through the same things, because I thought I was the only one who dealt with agitation and anger, and no, I'm definitely not. So
No.
it's been very helpful.
So we'll talk a little bit about the support groups available at the end, but there are different types of support groups available. There's in-person support groups, face-to-face interaction. There's online support groups that are flexible, especially when caregivers cannot leave the home. There's specialized groups. Some groups focus on specific types of dementia, stages of caregiving, or relationships. Each type has an advantage, and caregivers can choose what works best for them. So if you have attended a support group, what was the takeaway that has helped you the most?
You're not alone. Others are going through the same thing or just gone through the same thing. That type of thing.
That's absolutely that somebody else is going through the same thing.
It's almost eerie to go to a support group and hear people talk about something that you may have just encountered, such as
Yeah.
very recently, we all were doing taxes for the first time. And I know I was so stressed about it, just, in my own home. And then to go and hear about four other people say, I've never done taxes. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just so stressed about it. And it's like, oh yeah, that was me just this morning.
Did he always do the taxes and now you have to kind of do it together or by yourself?
And yeah, no, he's not at all able to contribute. So we were gonna have me learn and switch over, but we didn't have time, it seems.
No, my life is simple. I just take my W-2 or not W-2, my Social Security stuff to the AARP and that's it. I don't have too much income to worry about. So it's just very little, just little income, just my retirement and my Social Security.
So how to find a support group? It may be easier than you think. Caregivers can ask doctors, healthcare providers, contact local hospitals or community centers, search online for dementia caregivers support groups, and reach out to national organization, the Alzheimer's Association. When choosing a group, it's important to consider the meeting format, in person or online, the group size, a schedule, and most importantly, the comfort level with participants. And it's okay to try a few groups before finding the right fit for you. In conclusion today, caring for someone with dementia is a journey filled with challenges, but it doesn't have to be faced alone. Support groups provide connection, understanding, practical help, emotional relief. They empower caregivers to take better care of both their loved ones and themselves. Asking for support is not a sign of weakness. It's a step towards strength, resilience, and better care. So, as in today, I encourage everyone to find a support group if you don't have one that fits in with your journey, whether it be online or in person. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. And we do have, when we send out the slides, we'll also send out a list of the support groups in each individual area.
Yeah, I have plenty in my area, so I'm totally okay with that. Just trying to find the time to do it.
That's a big one, is trying to find the time and making sure that your loved one at home is safe.
Yeah.
When it comes to a support group, are Do you feel an online support group is more beneficial when your loved one when you don't have somebody that can stay with them and they can't be left alone? Is that something you would be willing to attend? Is there something that holds you back from attending a support group?
For me, it's just the time of day. The one that Rhonda does is at 1 o'clock, which is a good time of day for me to do it. Anything later than that, it's hard for me to be out of the house for that time period. Like 3, 4 o'clock, it's very hard. But 1 o'clock is good.
So when we talk support groups coming from a rural territory where there's not multiple options, when you have to factor in an hour drive there, an hour drive back, an hour and a half, so you're needing 4 hours of time to actually attend a support group.
Oh.
So when we put that into play, what's your thoughts on, is an online group something that works best that you would be willing to do? I think about your respite options. If you have somebody coming for 4 hours, you're taking that whole time to travel to a group. So for rural territory, online is probably an easier fit. Is there anything that keeps you from going? I'm just looking for thoughts on support groups. We had a support group in Hagerman, and it did well for a while, but then it phased out. People were afraid, with it being such a small community, they were afraid to share, thinking that like their business would travel, even though the support group is, confidential. Does that affect anybody? Like when you go in there, that you think that it is, you're afraid that your information or that the people that would know what's happening?
I've done both the in-person and the online, and I think the online was really good when we first moved here because I didn't know anybody. And so it's surprising. Well, like this is a support group. I mean, so it's kind of the same thing, but maybe this is has more of a schedule to it. But you'd be surprised how you get to know people, and it's not as impersonal as you think it's going to be, because after a while you do get to know people. And so I definitely encourage people to do online if they can't do the other, because it does become family after a while.
Absolutely. You get to know their partner's name, what they're going through, what's happening throughout their life. Absolutely. And hopefully it's something you look forward to, is that, getting together and meeting up, and, you've built a connection. So everybody's kind of invested in everybody and supporting that. So that's your idea behind a support group.
Right. And I still attend that support group online, even though I come to your support group, and perfectly happy with that too. But I got to be friends with them. And so I want to still participate and know what they're up to.
Absolutely. Does anybody have any questions revolving around support groups?
Just that I wish there were more available, or that maybe I just don't know about it, or don't know about what's available, but that's my only question. How do I find some?
So we have a couple that happen in person in your areas, but you're correct, they're an hour and a half away. If the interest is there, I do not have a problem doing an online support group for those who attend or who are part of the Idaho Community Care Program, which you all are. If that was something that was what you wanted, we could establish one and see what happens, and just do a Zoom support group for an hour. Depending on attendance, you may have to extend it, but it's if it's needed, that's what we're here for, is to bring you the support that you need. So we can definitely try one.
I was wondering, like in our support group, we kind of all sit around the table and talk to each other and stuff. And it's pretty much everybody's the same from the time before. But is it is there the ability to do a Zoom with the people around the table so that you have that consistency of people together face to face? But if you can't make it, you could Zoom in and say, you're here and you can listen, you can talk, you can interact. Is that possible?
I do believe the option to do one happening in person and one being on Zoom is something that can happen. Absolutely. I guess it depends on how far you want to open the support group up, where they're like tailored in those areas. So we could just set the computer up and do a Zoom during like the one in Blackfoot. And then if you can't make it in person, you could get on it. That's always an option. Rhonda, you've had experience with in person and Zoom like during classes. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it works well. I haven't done the support
I'm
group
on Zoom.
now. I haven't added the Zoom link, but
Community
I'm
of-
happy to do it anytime someone requests it. It works. I think we have a group of people that are in front of us that we have to remember to just look and see if they're raising their hand or if they want to give input, but it works. Yes, absolutely.
So I mean, absolutely, you could do that. Or we could have both, and you would have more options too, I guess, as well. Like you could join the Zoom one, or you can go and go to an in-person one that gives you just that much more support. So that there's that option as well.
I do really love that you all are doing the texting one when you don't have something else right in front of you. I like that you're creating relationships that way and communicating with each other on the text. And is that the one that Jacques began a couple of webinars ago?
Yes, he did kind of get that going, although Susan reached out to me right after, not last month's webinar, but the month before, and that's really how we got connected. But it is one that Jacques kind of tried to get going too.
Nice. That's great.
Great way to connect with each other.
It's surprising how much we've been able to connect just over texting, but just the bond that we're both going through the same things and being able to say things that other people might not understand or want to hear is just been so helpful and comforting to me.
I think texting is a little more intimate, and you can respond when you have time to respond. Sometimes you're in the middle of something and can't get on a support group link or a webinar link or go to a physical meeting, but you can always text and then get a response. So I think that's really cool, you guys. Good job.
I think that's fantastic. I do have one question. Do you prefer a support group to be open where you come in and you talk about what's going on and everybody shares that, or do you prefer to have like a topic at hand, like where your facilitator is kind of like our webinar, your facilitator is going over something and then you discuss that, or do you like the coming in and this is what's happening since the last time I seen you and here's where I'm at?
I think that would just depend on the people that are coming to the support group and how easy it is for them to share. I think maybe a facilitator to help get things going and then just be able to stand back and let the group communicate. That might be a good idea, just to have somebody help get things going.
I agree. One thing my husband cannot do anymore is ask me, how are you doing today? And this is what my new friends do for me. They ask me how I'm doing. And so a check-in, the ideas that I get here, it's really improved my quality of life.
Yeah, me too.
Gotta have the how are you doing?
So I believe we have some new people on the call this time. can you explain how they can join your texting group to get connected to the support that you're enjoying?
We don't have a texting group. Our texts are one-on-one,
Okay.
as far as I know.
Yeah, I
I
know.
think they connected by phone, like just sharing phone numbers, and they've built that connection.
Okay.
I think it's good if when you come into the group, wherever you are, online or face to face, it's good to have somebody that, like she said, gets it started. But then with the ones I've been anyway, you start talking and sharing, and then maybe there's a lull in the conversation. And then if there's somebody there that maybe has a list of things that they're able to talk about or might be interesting or they've picked up from the other people, they can insert it. And then it'll start that whole routine over again. That's what happens most of the time at ours.
Absolutely. Just somebody comes in and it's your turn to talk and you spill and it resonates with somebody else and they take that and it starts that conversation.
Mhm.
And having that ability to be able to open up and meet people at the same place as where you are, which is fantastic. It's a great way to help keep your cup full.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Is there any other questions? Like Jen said, we will send you out information on the support groups that are happening in your area, and they're not just led by the Idaho Community Care Program. The Alzheimer's Association has several support groups happening as well, both online and in person. So we will make sure you have that information along with the slides.
I was wondering if there is a good way to kind of spread the word that we are out here, not to get more people in, but to make it more available to other people. Because I think there's probably a lot of people out there that don't know about support groups in their area. So is there a way we can mention it in church or put a flyer out in a restaurant, or I don't know, just things that I know my doctors, when I started giving things to the doctors, they were amazed. They didn't even know what it was. But anyway, they were amazed that there was even stuff out there like it.
Absolutely. So we do our best and try really hard to get stuff advertised. Whether we're hanging a flyer in a restaurant, the post office, trying to put it in what we think people look at to find it. So anytime you feel like there's a place it needs to go, you can reach out to your case manager and just say, hey, even if you say I would like some flyers, I'll put it in the church. Or I'd like to take it. Sometimes when we hand our information to the doctor's offices, we're not exactly sure where it goes. So it's absolutely word of mouth as well. If you run into a caregiver and you say, hey, there is a support group in this area, you should join or come, and some people come one time and they realize this is not for me. So they don't come back, but absolutely, we do try to get them out there. Sometimes I guess we don't know where to put it to actually get people to see it in the different communities.
I read the Emma Willis book, and one of the things, I mean, this was her opening line, I think, was, when we went to the doctor and we got the diagnosis, and then there was nothing. There was no place for him to go for more or whatever. And excuse me. And that to me was like, what happened? I mean, I didn't get anything either way back when. So that's kind of, I think, one of the things that made me think about there's other people out there that could really use it.
I 100% agree. It would be ideal if after you get a diagnosis, you get told, but you're not alone. Here's support for you to help navigate this.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So just trying to get it out there. Like I said, we've taken material to multiple places. Sometimes it doesn't stay, they remove
Bring it
it.
in the right hands.
But yeah, so absolutely word of mouth. Tell your, if you run into one, tell your friends, like, or another caregiver, just try it. It's happening here. But yes, we are trying to get it out there that we have something going on that may be beneficial for you. Some kind of support. Any other questions? Advice, input? What do you want us to know as your facilitators?
I'm just happy that we have this every month, and I try to make it each time. Just appreciate it that you put in the effort to make this happen.
Yes, me too.
Yes, thank
I
you.
agree. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Next month, we're going to piggyback off of support groups with a guest speaker. So we will have a guest speaker joining us. The author of Walking with Faye will be on the webinar, and we'll talk to you about her journey and how she found her support through support groups. So it will be an exciting month for us to have. And hopefully everybody can join us again. And we'll go from there.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
You as well.
Bye.
Bye all. Have a great day.
Bye.